Nikki, and I'm here with a special guest today. This is Shirley from Classified Closet. We went to college together and we were in the same sorority. So we felt that it was fitting to talk about sororities today. So we're super excited. Okay, so today we're gonna go over the topic of how being in a sorority actually helps you in real life, because I feel like there's tons of videos out there about prepping for recruitment and different things about being in a sorority, but a lot of people don't talk about how it actually translates to being a real adult, which we are now both real adults. Officially. Unfortunately. Kind of sucks, but welcome to the new world, guys. We're gonna just go through 5 things of what it's like to go from a sorority to being in real life. Okay, so the first one is you learn really great communication skills. A lot of this I feel like is from recruitment.
Yeah, I feel like especially in recruitment you learn to talk to all types of people.
Definitely.
And like you have all types of conversations and you learn to modify what you say and like what you talk about depending on the person.
Yeah, matching people's tones, their energy. Obviously some people, when you first meet them, are super upbeat, other people are more mellow. And in recruitment you really learn how to kind of mirror people. And obviously sometimes people are easier to talk to, sometimes people are harder to talk to that you get along with or you don't, and it can be really awkward. And I feel like going through recruitment really helps you with that, and they give you a lot of training too.
Yeah. I feel like you learn a lot of different like back pocket, like
pocket questions,
topics and questions. And I think with that, like you learn to like switch on and off.
Oh, like how to go from one conversation to a completely different one. Yeah. Well, and that's so applicable with everything, because I was saying, I remember people who were in maybe different majors, because I'm in sales now, she's like in marketing now, so it's those are more people-centered jobs, so obviously we're going to be using a lot of those like talking and people skills, but for people who are maybe bio majors or engineering, they don't think they're going to use that, but everyone goes on job interviews, everyone goes to networking events, everyone has awkward family parties of their spouse eventually, you know, like you're going to have to learn how to interact with people that you don't know,
and you don't that you might not have a clear like connection with, like
so basically learning how to talk to people that you might not necessarily vibe with in the first place. Okay, so kind of an easy transition into the next one is actually about networking. I know people talk about this all the time when it comes to being in Greek life, but it's so true that networking while you're in a sorority really helps you in real life. So whether that be just meeting people, I use LinkedIn for my job now, and I have so many connections from Greek life, whether that be in GFI, outside of GFI, like different sororities, fraternities. Greek life is like a melting pot of different professionals, you know, young professionals to connect with.
And I think on that note, like connecting with what we talked about in the first one was that not everyone's going to be the same major in the same like field, and so because you meet so many people from so many different fields, you get to connect with just a bunch of people. And I feel like LinkedIn needs to be talked about more too.
Yes. Why?
Oh my gosh, when you're connected with someone, like if they're in the bio field and you're connected with them, but you want to get connected with someone else in a different industry, they might be that like second connection who can connect you, and it's just like, you meet so many people through Greek life, and I feel like I don't know, we need to take more advantage of it, and it's definitely
the craziest. And I even noticed it in school when I would walk around campus, especially like towards senior year, and I would know everyone, and that translates to the real world, because now for my job I'm on LinkedIn all day, and a lot of our school has stayed local in Orange County, and there's people that I'm like, hey, you work at this place, like I'm trying to meet with so-and-so, your manager, can you get me connected with them? Because that's what I do for my job, is just ask people out to coffee basically for recruiting. But it's insane the amount of connections and people are really willing to help you even if you didn't really know each other, just because you're Greek, you know?
And that's the other thing, like people are willing to help, and I think once you build those connections in school, like in Greek life, it's so applicable once you graduate.
And especially too with people who didn't even go to your school. Like once you find out someone else is Greek on like your resume or whatever, if people notice that, hey, wow, you were in G5, I was in, you know, Alpha Phi when I was in school, that really helps it.
I feel like there's just this common understanding of being in Greek life, like whether you're in the same sorority or fraternity or not. I feel like if you're in Greek life, you kind of know what it's
Everybody
like.
Gets it.
Just kind of get it. I mean, UCI is kind of different. Like I feel like if we compare to like ASU or something, it's probably really different, but same like basic understanding. So,
and it's funny too because now there's actually, so obviously we were in Gamma Phi Beta, I've said that a couple times, but there's 3 other G-Phis in my office that didn't go to UCI. Yeah, and it's so random. Like one of them just graduated from college. One of them is from, you know, maybe 10 years ago. So it's cool because all of us, when we found that out, we're all like, oh my God, cool, you know? So it's like a fun way to connect with people.
Yeah, it's really cool because at my workplace we have one went to UCI, but she was a Theta, and then another one also went to UCI, but she was AKO. And it was just cool being like, oh, we like all went to UCI, and we were like all in Greek life. And I think the Theta one, she said she was an advisor for Theta at one point too.
Cool.
But it's just like, it's so cool, and it's just,
I love it.
you have another community within like a new place, like a working environment.
You
have that
instantly feel more
familiarity.
connected, yeah. Okay, so the third one is leadership skills. Obviously, being in a sorority, there are a ton of different positions that you have the opportunity to be in. And while that's awesome for being in school, it also translates to when you graduate.
So I think with Greek life, you also, like Nikki said, like you have so many opportunities for leadership skills. And the thing is, there's such a huge range of it. So I was like scholarship chair and publicity or like social media chair, but also I was like a recruitment day chair, so helping out with actual recruitment. And I think once you break down each of those roles, you can really make them applicable to your job. Like day chair is like event planning and like handling budgets and stuff like that, and I feel like it's so important to know those skills once you're in the real world. And like, you can take on things too. Like I think when you work at a new place, it's really important, at least like to me, to have something that's my own. So like whether you're like starting a new like event thing, like I brought it up to one of my coworkers about doing kind of like the Crescences thing to have everyone get to know each other more, just like randomly pairing up people at the workplace like once a month to go get stuff, like get coffee. And event planning, I can like help plan events or like whatever it is. So I feel like with that, and also learning how to manage and like delegate things when you have a position.
Well, and I know that a lot of times now it's like that critical dilemma of you need 3 to 5 years experience for all the entry level jobs, but how am I supposed to get that if I've been in school? And like all of these jobs are so unrealistic with expectations when you're trying to get into the workforce. And so having those skills to speak to, because I've talked about, you know, my experience being like recruitment VP or whatever in job interviews on my resume, like put that stuff on your resume because it really does help. And it seems silly because it's like, oh, well, it was just my sorority, like, you know, pledge mom thing, whatever, but it actually gives you tangible skills that you can use.
And I think if you think about it, like it's really not a big deal.
No, it's hard.
You know?
Like some of that stuff
hard
it's legit.
To do. Yeah.
It's kind of like having it's like working while you go to school.
Yeah.
It's just not something you get paid for. You have to pay for it. But it gives you those skills that you need.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, going back to the recruitment day chair thing, like if you are looking at your resume and putting things in, like numbers are so important. And with day chair, it's like, oh, I planned an event for X amount of people. It's like over like 200, 300 people with X amount of
$10,000 budget, something like that.
Yeah, and it just looks so impressive because you did that in college.
And you can speak to it really easily. Okay, so number 4 is how to get along with / respect people that you may not necessarily get along with in real life. Long-winded title, but basically, I think that the stigma around sororities is that everyone's best friends and everybody gets along, but that's just not realistic. With a group of 100+ women, obviously there are going to be clashing personalities, but you have to learn how to respect each other and get along, which totally translates to the workplace in real life.
Yeah, like you're not going to get along with everyone you meet, and like you might not have the same working styles or something, but you are in the same company or you're in the same sorority and like community that you have to get along with them. Like everyone's not going to work to fit your needs, if that makes sense. Like I mean, that would be great, but also like you have to work to accommodate and to like work together with everyone else You know, does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, in sororities, there's obviously some type of hierarchy where there's like an executive board, and you have to be able to work with those people as your senior, basically. And it's like having to get along with your boss at your job if you don't really like them, or a colleague that you're not a big fan of. You have to, or even if it's not necessarily that you don't like them, you just have a different working style.
Yeah.
So you have to really find out how to collaborate effectively while still maintaining the peace, kind of.
Yeah.
Because that's harder than it sounds, and I think that that's what people really learn being in Greek life.
Like, I think you can easily get really frustrated, but like with Greek life, you first just keep in mind that you're not going to be best friends with everyone, and
fine.
like after graduating, you might just keep in touch with a handful of people, but that's totally normal because like there's over 100 girls in the sorority and you're not gonna be best friends with everyone. But I think learning how to be respectful and like work together with everyone, and at the end of the day you all share the same values, and
it's not even just for the workplace. As you get older, you have, like, I keep relating it back to a boyfriend or a spouse or whoever. They're gonna have friends you might not get along with. They're gonna have family that you might not get along with. You have to be able to coincide, and what's the word I'm looking for? So
to be with them, but like to get along with them, and get along. Just you learn how to get along with everyone.
I obviously didn't learn enough in college. My dictionary in my head is not working. Okay. Next one. Okay, last one is a fun one. It's all about personal branding, and this is definitely something that you learn being in a sorority. How to not post pictures of you drunk on Instagram, how to not post pictures and slander other people on Instagram and Facebook and whatever, like not trash talk, just how to represent yourself well. And that's something that I know being in a sorority, ideally they're pretty strict on.
I think that this also comes along with employers always saying that they look at like your social media and everything like that, and so it's really important to make sure that whatever is public and out there is clean. But also you can take advantage of this by like branding yourself, and like if you wanted to improve your employers or whatever, just making your Instagram very, like, I don't know, curated to them.
Curated,
or
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I feel like that really stands out. And also, I was listening to a podcast recently, and I think this was really cool. This has like probably nothing to do with personal branding at all, but the girl said, so she applied to work at Hinge, and she actually works there now, but she changed her cover letter to look like a Hinge profile.
Ooh,
yeah, and then like for
cool.
resumes and stuff, changing the fonts to match the brand's fonts and the colors to match the brand's colors. So you really just like implement yourself into the company already.
Yeah.
But
well, yeah, I think it's just being attentive, and obviously in Greek life you have to do a lot of like, you go to meetings every week. I've had positions where I had to go speak at other chapters meetings, which can be intimidating, like how to do public speaking basically in front of people that might intimidate you, or different groups of people, and like just being able to brand yourself well. Obviously you want to show up, you don't need to be in a full face of makeup and hair done and whatever, but there's a difference between like presenting yourself well and not. So especially for like job interviews, going to work, like I have to wear business clothes every day to work, and you need to know how to dress and how to act and how to do that just to be in a professional setting. So yeah, that kind of goes along with the social media thing too. Oh, and a side note that I've also noticed, this is kind of going along with this, work parties. I've been to my fair share of work parties now where there's alcohol involved, and people, it's surprising how many people get like drunk and embarrass themselves at a work function. And I feel like being in a sorority and being in Greek life helps you, because you do go to those like different formals and stuff, and like it takes you a little while in college to kind of learn your limits and stuff and not act like a crazy person. But obviously at some of those events there are people around that you're trying to look good in front of, and there's also a certain like standard that you have to abide by. And that really helps you for after college to not look like a drunk idiot in front of your boss, because people do that. So just wanted to throw that tidbit in there because that's important.
Yeah, and I think that's something that was drilled into us like when we were in Greek life. Like you are representing your whole chapter no matter where you go.
Kicked out if you too drunk.
Yes, and you will be talked to if you do anything that presents them poorly. So I think that's really
well, and also that made me think of like, you're always representing your chapter when you're in college, and it's kind of like that when you're an adult and you work for a certain company. It depends on how kind of like public you are in a sense, but you never know who you're gonna meet. For someone like me, I'm always networking. My face is on everybody's LinkedIn's all the time. Like my picture's right there. So if I'm acting like all like ugh when I'm out and I run into a client, it's like that's not a good look. And you're always representing. Or if you're wearing like a company shirt or something and you're doing something inappropriate, like that looks really bad on a large company potentially. So it's something to be aware of.
Yeah, because you also never know who knows who. Because everyone knows everyone.
Wait, I have a story about this. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, so, and this actually happened at the tail end of college. So senior year, I did an internship from February to June when I graduated, and it was just part-time. I worked like 25 hours a week or something like that. And pretty soon after I got hired, I went to a Vegas formal for one of the fraternities on campus. And while I was there, apparently so here's me. I had a boss who had a boss who had this boss. Okay, he was in charge of like all of the the company in Southern California basically. He said he was in Vegas the same time that I was and like saw me in the lobby with my friends.
Oh my God.
Thank God he was like really cool. He loved going to Vegas and partying and stuff. But I was like mortified after when I came back to work. He was like, hey, like you're the new girl. I think were you in Vegas this weekend? I saw you in Vegas. And I was like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
But I was really glad because at that time I didn't drink, so I knew that I was acting like not too, I mean, I'm kind of crazy, but like I wasn't acting crazy. But that's like, you never know.
That is wild.
And he was like in charge of everything. Like it was a big deal. So thank God I got lucky and I wasn't doing anything stupid, but it was like, holy crap, like people are always watching you. Alrighty guys, so that's all we have for this video. Hopefully we gave you kind of a good idea of what to expect after you graduate, after you've been in a sorority. Maybe this might encourage some of you to join Greek life, which would be awesome. But definitely go subscribe to Shirley. She has the best editing skills, you guys. I worship her. Also, her Instagram feed is so curated and cute. And it looks a lot better than mine, so you need to go follow her. And she's at Classified Closet on Instagram and on YouTube.
Yeah, and then on my channel, we filmed top 5 things that you actually need to learn from college, because I feel like college can be so overwhelming and there's so many things happening, and I think we tried boiling it down to 5 things that I think by the end of college and like when you graduate, you need to know these things. So
more than just school. So so head on over to her channel, check out that video, and we will see you later. Also subscribe to me if you haven't already, and like and watch, and you guys know the drill. But yeah, we'll see you in both of our next videos. Bye.